Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to InteleTravel's tour of the booking platform just exclusively for InteleTravel.uk travel agents. So great to be with you tonight. This is James Ferrara, President of InteleTravel. And before we get started, just a few reminders. We are recording this event tonight, and it'll be available to you in your back office under the IntelliTutorials section. Just like most online events at InteleTravel, give it a couple of days, and you'll be able to find it there. This is just one of many educational opportunities we have for agents at InteleTravel. As you know, we've been ramping up on education in the UK, and we're only just getting started. I hope I don't have to remind you that coming up just in a week or so is the second Dreammaker in the UK. This is our first level live agent certification program. You'll become a certified Dreammaker, and I will personally be in London along with the Dream team. You'll meet Jessica Sittimer, our Director of Training, and you'll meet Tara Minson, our Vice President of Marketing, and a few other surprises. Also, for the first time, if you recall, at our first Dreammaker, we had the pleasure of having CLIA, the Cruise Lines International Association in the UK, be our exclusive guest at that first event, and they talked a lot about membership and getting involved with CLIA for the best education in the travel industry around the world. CLIA will be joining us again, which is a great pleasure, great honor. But in addition to CLIA, we will have our first sort of mini trade show of suppliers in the UK that you're working with and will be working with, and they will also be participating in the training. So you'll have direct training during the day from a number of our top brands, including some of the ones you've already met with, like Thomas Cook, Kuoni, Carnival, and so on, Royal Caribbean. So they will be with us during Dreammaker and be part of the training team for you. So we're really looking forward to that. In addition to that, of course, we have webinars every Tuesday in the US, and we're starting to ramp up an additional schedule of webinars for you in the UK, like this one tonight. We also have a regular podcast every week that you can be downloading and listening to, and if you find the InteleTravel training app in the App Store on either your Android or Apple device, then you can download that app and get the podcast automatically. There's so much going on, special events coming up, and of course the big event in January, InteleTravel's Travel Quest, coming up in Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. We're talking about 80 different seminars and classroom trainings and workshops. We're talking about over 50 top travel brands from around the world joining us at that event for 3 days of training, general sessions, big travel giveaways, social events, networking, incredible trade show with all of these big brands, some meals together, some discounted park tickets in Walt Disney World, and lots of other surprises and benefits for that event. So really look forward to seeing you there. It is your chance of the year to get the deepest, most intense travel agent training from InteleTravel. So there will be about 1,500 travel agents in attendance, which makes it one of the 2 or 3 largest events in the travel industry for the year, and it's for just one agency, InteleTravel. So highly unusual, an incredible opportunity for you. And there's so much more in training. There are videos, there is your training manual, there is one-on-one counseling and all the support at InteleTravel. There are the events that we attend for Planet Marketing, like the wonderful event that we've just finished back in Atlanta, and I hope we got the chance to meet you. I know we had leaders from the UK and a couple of independent agents from the UK, and we spent some time with you, and we were very glad to have that opportunity. But if you can't make it to Atlanta or Orlando for Walt Disney World, you certainly have these online events as well, like tonight. So let's get to tonight. This is something you've wanted, something we've been hearing from you about. It is something that we do in the US, but since we're still just getting started in the UK, we're just getting to the first of these now, and that is a tour of your booking platform in your travel agent extranet in your virtual office. And we are going to go over a quick walkthrough on how the booking engines work, with maybe some tips on how to optimize your search results, and we'll try to address some of the feedback that we've received. So make sure we get around any user error, help you with that, and then looking forward into what's coming next on the booking platform. There's so much more to talk about in your virtual office, in your back office, and there will be more webinars on some of those other features, marketing tools, education, and so on. But tonight is really, I think, what you've been waiting for, which is that booking engine focus. And to do that, no one better than the architect of all of this for us, a man who has decades of experience and reputation in the travel industry, who has built some of the most successful companies in the travel industry over the last couple of decades, very large, very successful organizations with market-leading technology. And of course, I'm referring to Mike Putman, who's our executive on the international booking platform, and is the guy with the right mix of experience and operations and sort of cutting-edge technology, new product inventory, systems, ideas, all of which he's brought to bear in partnership with InteleTravel to bring you what will turn out to be the market-leading booking platform for travel agents anywhere. After you have it at 100%, we're bringing it to the US to replace the existing platform, because it'll be that much better than what we currently have in the US, being used by many tens of thousands of travel agents. So let's get to it. Let's bring on the expert and the man who's here to help you and support you, and that is Mike Putman. Mike, are you with me?
I am. Thank you so much, James, for that nice, warm introduction. And I'm really excited to be here with you guys tonight. I know it's kind of getting a little bit later in the evening, so I'll try to keep all of my remarks in this tour somewhat brief, but at the same time giving you access to all the many tools that you do have available as an agent of InteleTravel. Just a little bit of background. So the program was launched as a UK platform, as James has mentioned, and the way we kind of thought about this, with having a little bit of experience in launching programs in around 30 other countries around the world, is we didn't want this to be a US-based platform that was kind of modified for an international audience, and specifically for the UK audience, which is our target market, of course. So we wanted this to be UK-centric, and we wanted some, there were things such as, the suppliers, we needed to present the product in sterling rather than USD. Luckily, we speak the same language, so that's not an issue. But there's some cultural things, just as simple as in the U.S., we put the way we format our dates is slightly different. So we do month, day, year, whereas that's not the European standard. So we took all those things into consideration. And we came up with a plan that we've rolled out as this beta engine in mid to early July, and there have been constant improvements. We've had a great partnership with the UK leadership. The team there has been fantastic, representing all the agents very well, so you guys have a lot to be thankful for. You got some very strong leaders in the UK market. And we have been working hand in hand with them in correcting things, filling gaps where there might be some supply gaps, and trying to make the very best product for you guys as possible, as James has mentioned. So now I'm going to give you guys a quick tour of the site, and I just want to make sure, James, can you just give me a quick call out, make sure you can see my screen? I think you're the only one that can talk right now.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay,
So
excellent. I just want to make
at least that
it would
works.
be. Yeah, I was going to say it would be not a very good demonstration could you guys not see my screen. But just a quick tour. So the main page, the landing page that you come to is the dashboard. Come back to that in a minute. Then we have another menu called Book Travel. And from here you can get some hot links into the hotel booking engine, the flights engine, the cars engine, the cruise engine, and then also some other areas that will become much more important as this program continues. As some of you may or may not know, we are still waiting on our APTA license, and APTA is kind of the pseudo government body that has a lot of influence over providers or suppliers, as you might call them. So Thomas Cook's being a supplier, etc. As an example, and we are still waiting for that membership to be approved. We feel very good about it. There's constant dialogue going back and forth. It's taken, and I'll say that with apologies from InteleTravel. It has taken significantly longer than what APTA had told us that it would take. So we had kind of based the whole launch of the site timed around that, and unfortunately it's taken quite a bit longer. They've been asking for more information, and we feel, again, very confident about it, but it's just taken a little bit longer. But the reason I tell you that is that this preferred partners link will take you to a link that will show other partners that can be booked online and offline, as well as the registered outside booking. So when you make a booking off the platform, this is an area that you'll go into and you can manually load the customer booking information in, and that way we can track it, so when your commission does come in, we'll know to pay you. Now, the great thing about the booking engine is anything that you book in our booking engine in any one of these, and we'll be adding some other verticals, which I'll explain later, but anything that you add in these will automatically be tracked to your back office for you. So we'll take that information and track it. So it's always best to book with inside the platform when possible, but there will be some times where there's some travel components that we may not have, like a 17-day African safari, as an example. We may not have that in our engine. That's a pretty specific trip. So, but we will provide you with the means to make those bookings, so you can still book for your clients and receive the commission. And you'll just simply go in and register those as outside bookings. Under My Agency, this is a good area where you'll find hot links to tools. So you'll have a profile for yourself. You'll be able to see your commissions, which we know are very important to you. You'll be able to see your agent website. You've got access to the great customer management tool. And as James had said earlier, I have worked with a lot of different agency groups, as well as owning a small chain of agencies myself, and the tools that are available to you guys are just unparalleled in the United States as well as the UK. The InteleTravel team has done just a fantastic job bringing together tools like a CRM, which a lot of host agencies don't have, excellent training, and lots of research and materials that you can use as well to gain a better knowledge. And here under the education link, of course, you'll find information about the InteleTravel University. There's the tutorial library, there's information on partner education, and then there's calendar of events. So as things begin to mature in the UK market as they have in the US, there will be lots of opportunities for you to attend industry type events that our suppliers, that our joint suppliers may be putting on. So we'll make those available for you as well. And then we, of course, also have the help area. So there's a help desk, and then there's a knowledge base. So the knowledge base is an area where people who have reported issues or had questions. We've tracked the kind of most frequently asked questions, and here you'll find a listing of the answers of those. So you may want to check that out before asking for help. And then over here is your ability to log out. So this is really important if you're using a computer that is shared, if you're in a library or a coffee shop or something like that, and you're using a public computer, you always want to log out because you don't want other people to randomly come by and have access to your back office or your commission reports. Okay, so let's start here on the dashboard. I want to just quickly show you some of these links. So here, view my commission report. You'll see that your commission reports are tracked. We've got some test bookings in this particular account where it shows you the booking ID, the type of booking, the vendor, the name, the date it's booked, and the travel date, the total charge, and what your commission would be. So this is, again, a very important tool because a lot of people are using this service to make money, and this this tracking mechanism is built in within the system, so you can see exactly where you are at any point of time. Now, when you sign in, you'll also, it takes you to a progress meter, and this progress meter will show where you are in terms of getting to the end goal, which is being the travel genius. So as you go to things like Dreammaker, when you go through the Vacation Builder program, these are milestones along the way that will help you get to the travel genius level, which I'm sure lots of you want to do. A couple of other links here on the dashboard. You'll see that there's a customer profile form. So this is a PDF form that you can print out, and when this is a great tool when you're qualifying a customer. You know, when I have walk-in travel agencies, we call them brick-and-mortar travel agencies. You guys would call them high street travel agencies. We had pads of these printed out, and when someone would come in and sit down, we would ask them to fill out this information first. And it did a couple of things. One is it helped us gather information while the agents may be busy on other things. It began creating a profile for this potential customer, and then we also took this customer information, put it in the CRM, so when they come back to you with additional bookings, maybe a month or 2 months down the road, you may not remember what airline they like, as an example, or you may not remember their wife's name, but you'll have it all right in front of you if you follow this path of success, which is ask your clients to fill out these customer information forms in advance, and then you can save those. And those are available. You can print them from that screen to get your relationship with your new client started. So let's take a look at some of the booking engines. We're going to start with a car. So the car engine, we've got a lot of providers in the background. And this is a global car rental program, so it's not just car rentals that are available in the UK, as an example, but it is car rentals that are available in any destination around the world. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but when I typed in the pickup location, I typed in the airport code for Gatwick, which is LGW. The system recognizes that. But I've also, in my drop-off location, I have typed in London. So if you don't know the airport code, which is kind of a shortcut, you can just type in London and then pull from the drop-down date. And then we just simply enter in a date of pickup and a time. So this time is very important when you're booking something for your client. So if you have clients coming in on a flight and their flight arrives at noon, as an example, you don't want to book the car rental for a noon pickup because you know that the plane will typically get in, it'll take some time to taxi in, they may have to clear customs if they're coming in from out of the country, they may have to get bags, etc., etc. So you want to allow a little bit of buffer time. So someone coming in at noon, if they're coming in on an international flight and having luggage, I might make the pickup time more like 1 p.m. and then for the drop off, you simply pull down from the menu, and then you just click the Search Now button. So as I mentioned, we've got several providers in the background that are providing car rentals for us. And what we do is we send out a request with those parameters of picking up in Gatwick on the 20th and dropping off on the 21st. And then we bring back in the background all of the different options, all the different car rental companies, all the different sizes, because I didn't specify a size. And we bring those back, and then we show them to you in a least expensive to most expensive price. So you can see we've got some great deals. I mean, you can rent a car for 13 quid for a full day out of Gatwick. And as you scroll down, you'll see there's lots of other options. We have, as a matter of fact, if you see here, we have 1,140 different options of sizes of cars that you can rent, different car rental companies. In this example, these are mostly InteleTravel, but you'll see there's an Alamo. And generally speaking, as you go up in price, you typically go up in size of car, but you also have some sorting capabilities. Here you can choose the car type that you want, mini, intermediate. If you need to move stuff around, you might want to use a van or a minivan. And then we also give you some icons that will show you some things about the car. So without having to dig into all the details, you can see that this is a mini car. It's a four-person maximum. This is a petrol car, not a diesel, and this is a manual. Manual, not an automatic. So to book one of these, you simply click the book button, and that will take you into the passenger gathering area. So here you simply enter your names, or the name of the passenger who's picking it up. We'll just enter some information here and a phone number, and then you'll also notice that the selection has been summarized here for you. So this gives you a recap of what it is you're about to purchase for yourself or your client. Click the continue button, and then here's where you pay for the transaction. So I'm not going to bill James's credit card. I don't think he would like that, because I know he won't be driving in London. He's more of a cab limousine guy. But if we did, we would simply take James's credit card number along with the CVV, billing address, enter that in, click the Book Now button, and then his booking would be complete. And again, I'm not going to do that at this point. But that's a simple rundown on the car information. You know, a couple of other things to kind of point out is we always give you a summary at the top. So you'll see you kind of know what it is that you're buying without having to hit that annoying back button. So this is a Hyundai two-door pickup on such and such date and drop off on such and such date. And this is what we call a breadcrumb. So the first step was putting the passenger information. We're to confirm your booking. Should we enter the credit card in, then that would take us to the next page, which would give us a confirmation. So a couple things happen when that confirmation comes in. You as the agent would receive a confirmation of this. It would show up in your back office, and then your customer, had you entered your customer's email address, they would receive a confirmation email from you as well. And that all gets sent automatically, so you don't have to go in and build that. It gets taken care of for you. So that's cars. The next section I want to hop into is hotels. So with hotels, there are a couple of things I'd like to highlight, and this is the hotel search screen. So there's a couple of different ways you can search. So if we wanted to search for London in general, if we didn't know where in London we want to stay, we could enter London. We also, if let's say someone was flying back from, let's say, India, and they were going to the U.S. and they stopped in Heathrow and they needed an overnight hotel, we could enter LHR, which is the airport code for Heathrow, and you'll see it breaks down, even has the postal code there. Or if someone wanted to stay in central London, we could enter something as specific as Victoria Station. And you'll see that the system recognizes Victoria Station. And so basically what we do is for any of these, what we call POIs, and that's point of interest, POI, point of interest, we take the latitude and the longitude, we combine those together, and that's where we drop a pin. So that is where we're going to start searching as a destination, and then we're going to draw a circumference around that, and our default circumference is going to be 15 kilometers. But we know if you want to stay in central London, you probably want to narrow that down considerably. And this was actually a suggestion brought up by one of the agents. They said that initially we had 15 kilometers as our primary sort, and they said that's too broad. You're bringing in stuff from Wimbledon and all over the place. You need to narrow that down. So we did, and now you've got the option to search by 1 kilometer, 3, 5, 15, 30, or 50. And you might say, well, why would I ever use 50? Well, if you're out in the countryside, or let's say you're in northern Scotland, you might be willing to drive 50K to get to a hotel or find a hotel deal. Of course, that wouldn't make sense in central London. Here you just simply enter in your dates that you want, that you're looking for. And we're going to just stick with one room for now, but you have the option of booking up to 4 rooms at one time. And we'll click the Search Hotels button. So one of the powers that we have behind this engine is that we have a lot of different hotel providers that are providing us content. So they are the big name hotel providers that you guys have heard of, and some you probably haven't heard of. But we've got about 7 hotel providers in the background. And what we do is when those parameters get filled out of where it is you want to be, when you want to check in, when you want to check out, we bundle that information together. We fire it out through things called APIs. And we ask all of these providers, tell us what you have available in this example, around the Victoria Station, within 1 kilometer of the Victoria Station. And so they bring back their results to us, and then we take those results, and as you can imagine, if there's bunches of results coming from a lot of different suppliers, it sometimes takes some amount of time to sort that out. But the thing that we do that's really important and important for you guys is we go through a process called deduping. So we deduplicate the results, because I'll give you an example. One hotel provider may call this Victoria Apartments, and another may call it the Victoria Apartments. Now, if you didn't have a algorithm that actually deduped these, then what you would see is a listing for Victoria Apartments, and then right below that, another listing for the Victoria Apartments, which are it would be the same property, and it would be a waste of space. But if you could imagine that happening 7 or 8 times for each hotel, this could get really a very cumbersome thing to wade through. But we bring those back, and then once we dedupe those, and we know that we're talking about the same properties, and we do that through several different mechanisms in an algorithm, then what we do is we list the best price available. So for the Victoria Apartments, again, we may have 5 or 6 or maybe all 7 of our suppliers providing us bookings there, or the availability to book. We throw out the most expensive ones, and we only keep the least expensive one. Okay? So there's several things that you can do here. You'll see that these are sorted. Again, our primary sort is based on price, least expensive to most expensive. But if you want to reshuffle those, we can change that with just one click there on the arrow. I did it really quickly, so you might not have seen, but I'll do it again for you. It reshuffles to the most expensive to the least expensive. You also can sort these by user rating. So maybe price is important, so let's sort by price, but then let's find out who's got the best user rating based on price. So here's something really interesting. So here's a 5-star hotel, the Eccleston Square Hotel. It's £156, whereas the next the next highest rated 5-star is 435 pounds. So if you're looking for great values, this is a way to do it. You also have the ability to sort by name, and then if you wanted to narrow down the searches, you could actually type in Eccleston, and it would pop up with just that hotel if you're trying to wade through a lot of search results. But because we did such a tight search, we said 1 kilometer circumference. We have 67 results. That's still a lot of hotels just to be within 1 kilometer. And those are the results that we have brought back. You'll notice that you can also, the default setting is to sort for any star rating, but you can change this to sort for 4-star and 5-star and 3-star, let's say. And by doing so, you see that narrows down your search results to only 49 properties. You also have these sliders, and these sliders are your price per day. So if you have someone that's working on a budget and they may say, hey, I'm looking for a 3-star hotel, but I don't want to pay more than 252 pounds, then you can move that slider down, and basically that is going to eliminate any hotels that don't have a price between 0 pounds and 252 pounds. And you'll see our search results went down. We'll do it again. Let's take it down to 200. That eliminates 4 other properties, so now we just have 40. So it's a way you can really narrow down and shop on behalf of your client. And a lot of times, if you're doing this over the phone, just by taking a few minutes and practicing this, and then thinking about how you're going to position it to a client, then you can sound like you really know everything about all the hotels around Victoria Station in London. And for those of you that live in London, that may come secondhand to you, but if you live in Birmingham, that may not. So this is how you can gain some credibility with your client, regardless of where the destination is. It could be in some place you've never been, never even heard of. But with these tools, you can sort these results so that you really know a lot about the individual properties and have the ability to offer great value. So if I was an agent, maybe the way I would represent this is I would say, let's just get to the 5-star hotels. I would say, Mr. Client or Miss Client, I know you wanted to stay at the Goring, which is a great hotel, but I found this deal for you. I can get you a 5-star hotel, similar rating, but instead of paying 435 pounds a night, this is only 156 pounds per night. So you see how that kind of comes off and makes you, by having access to this extensive amount of content, gives you the ability to be an expert. And just to give you guys a little bit of information too, there are, we measured it the other day, there are 1.5 million hotels and accommodations that are available in the system. We also have, because hotels, sometimes people don't refer to hostels as hotels, but we have hostels available, we have B&Bs available, bed and breakfasts, we have apartments. So apartments, kind of like what Airbnb is doing, are a big interesting piece of the accommodation formula now, and we have those as well. And you'll find those within the results. Yeah, so as an example, here's the Astor Victoria Hostel. So a lot of times you can't find these when you're looking in traditional search engines. So let's say we wanted to book, where was that great deal at the Eccleston Square? I wonder if Bernie Eccleston owns that. But if you want to book it, you simply just click on the book button. You'll see that we've got a lot of photos that are available of what you might experience at the Eccleston Square Hotel. Looks like a lovely place. And by the way, we're redoing this. We're in the midst of resorting this to make it look even better than it does today. There's some opportunity for improvement, so you should see that coming up very shortly as it relates to the hotel booking engine. And we even came up with some rates that were better than what we had on the site originally. So sometimes you'll find these specials. So just to give you a little bit more information, it shows your star ratings, there's tons of hotel pictures for this property. Here's the address. If you click on the details, it gives you a really nice detail overview. So one thing you might want to think about if you're ever sending someone a proposal or a quote, you can simply open this up, copy, paste, put it in a Word document, an email, a text, and then again you sound like you come off as an expert, and it builds credibility immediately. At this particular property, you can see we're offering different types of rooms. So this first type is a standard room with a queen bed at 139 pounds. The next room type is a standard with a king for 149, and then you get into the superior rooms for 180. Things to consider too, these are book now, pay now rates, so these are special rates that if you book it now, you have to pay for it now. And then there's also the cancellation information, policies, and taxes are here. So you always want to open that up, and you want to share that information with your client and let them know what is included and what the cancellation penalties are, as well as the tax. To confirm, again, you just hit the Book Now button. You enter the client's first, last name, their email address if you want the system to send them out an email, and then the payment types, the actual credit card number or debit card number as appropriate, the CVV number. And just so you guys know, CVVs are generally on Visa, MasterCard. They're on the back in the signature bar. On American Express, they're on the front of the card, in case someone isn't familiar with that term or how to use it. You enter in, very important here, guys, you enter in the name that's on the card, not your name, but the name that's on the card, their billing address that's attached to that card, country, state, city, postal code, etc. The reason this is important is because one of the things that we do in terms of fraud control is we will compare this information through a secure network with the credit card companies to make sure that this credit card does belong to this person. So it's part of our fraud prevention. So if any of this information is incorrect, if you put the wrong zip code associated with this credit card number, then the system is going to fail, and you're not going to be able to complete the booking. So it's important that you have all this information correct, including the expiration date as well as the CVV. Okay, and then once you do, you enter in the guest name. So it could be a situation where a father is paying for a hotel room for his son, or his daughter. So it may be the father's name on the card, but the room would be in the name of the son or daughter, whoever he's booking this for. So those names don't have to match, but you want to make sure you get the right name on here as well. And then again, we show you a breakout of the taxes and fees and the total amount that's payable at that time. You'll also see a summary of what you're getting ready to buy on behalf of the client. So that's available. And then once we were to complete that, then it would take you into the confirmation page, which would confirm the booking. So once you do this, you need to go to that confirmation page. It may take up to 12-13 seconds for a confirmation to come back, so just be a little patient. It will post the confirmation number for you, but the great thing is the InteleTravel system is going to send you an email with all that information recapping. If you put the customer's email address, it's going to send them a confirmation as well, and it's going to show up in your back office. Now, it doesn't show up in your back office right away. You need to allow, I think, 36 hours for that to show up, or up to 36 hours, but that will show up in your back office so that you'll have access to it, and then you can start tracking it for commissions, so you'll know when to expect your payment for that booking. All right, so let's move on to air bookings. So we have air bookings scheduled as flight. So it's very important that a couple of things. That you realize that there's over 900 airlines for published fares. There's over 200 low-cost carriers and over 70 air consolidators around the world. So there's lots of choice here. We think we've done a really good job of bringing the relevant carriers to the market. You know, there's not many places where you actually can pull up British Airways right beside EasyJet and be able to book it on your own site. You know, there are some meta services that allow you to do that, but then you have to branch off and pay at another site, and you may not know who that site is. Sometimes the link works, sometimes it doesn't. With this, you stay inside the InteleTravel ecosystem and you make all your bookings right away. We also provide your end user with $200,000 worth of complimentary flight accident insurance. Just to be clear, this is not cancellation insurance, but this is accident insurance. Of course, we don't want anything to happen to our clients or ourselves while traveling, but it creates a really nice peace of mind knowing that flight insurance is included. Now, this, you can buy this flight insurance separately. There's several sites in the UK as well as the US that offers this for sale. Typically, the pricing is around $20 to £20, so 20 to 30 US dollars, or that breaks down to about 15 to 20 pounds that you would pay extra for it. Being an InteleTravel agent, this is something that you offer that comes with the tickets that goes directly to your clients. There's also a $10 ticket service fee that's included in the prices that you'll see. So it can be at times, the prices could be a little bit more than what you might find if you went directly to the airline site themselves, and sometimes will be less. But if it's 10 pounds over, it's because of the service fee, and that service fee does include the complimentary flight insurance. Now, the great news about the service fee is that you're eligible to earn your commission on this. So whether you earn 70% or 80% commission, you're going to be getting the lion's share of that ticket service fee, as well as providing your client complimentary flight insurance. So the engine is pretty straightforward. You can book things on a round-trip basis. You can book them one way. You can book multi-city. What multi-city is, by the way, is if you're going, let's say, from London to Florence, Italy, and then from Florence to Munich, and then Munich to Istanbul, and then Istanbul back to London. So what you would do in that scenario is you would just add another flight. So let's say you were going from London, and you're going to, I think it said Florence. Then you would just add another flight. You'd say, okay, now I'm in Florence, so my client wants to go from Florence on the 23rd to Munich. I do remember that airport code. And then again, you just add another flight till you get your whole thing together. So this allows you to do a very complex search for a complex itinerary and bring that. For the sake of seeing this, because I talk a lot, I'm super kind of. I'm going to do a simple one search for you guys. So let's do a search from Greenville, Spartanburg, which is where I'm calling you guys from. So it's a mid-sized town in South Carolina here in the U.S. And let's go to London. And we're going to go the day after my birthday. So my birthday is October 12th. Anybody taking notes out there? But we'll go the day after my birthday, and we'll see what kind of results we come up with. So again, in the background, what we're doing is, and this search does take longer than most searches, and I'll tell you why. Because we're not only searching for the flights, the normal flights, the British Airways, the American Airlines, the, whatever, but we're also looking for any low-cost carriers. So Norwegian Air, as an example, they've got some great rates. They've got rates as low as $99 US to fly one way from the US to Europe, to London, and also to Europe. And I think they've got them coming back too. So if you guys want a chance to come to the US at a great deal, check out Norwegian Air as well. But here are the results that we've got back. So for 516 pounds, you can get a one-way virtually no advance purchase ticket, only leaving in 3 days. From Greenville to London, there are 200 results, as you can see here. So a lot of different choices. We automatically sort low to high, but you can change that up. You can eliminate certain airlines or just look at certain airlines just by clicking those. You can say I'm only looking for non-stop flights, which by the way doesn't exist from Greenville to London. We're kind of a mid-sized town. Or you can say I'm only interested in one-stop or zero-stop flights, but I'm not interested in a flight that stops 3 times. This is a neat tool. This is called the duration slider, and the duration slider shows you the amount of time that it takes. And by the way, so all these flights do require that you change planes. I know that doesn't happen a lot when you live in London. You can go pretty much direct anywhere. But if you're coming to Greenville, you'd have to change planes. But so the least amount of time it would take would be 9 hours and 19 minutes. But we also have itineraries as high as 25 hours and 33 minutes. Right, so you can control that by saying that's too long, but I'd be willing to I would be willing to take a flight that took less than 16 hours. And then in terms of departure time, this slider here is, there are flights beginning at 5:45 a.m., leaving up until 18:21 in the evening. And then you also can adjust your arrival time as well. So when you change those filters, you just click the apply button. Hopefully I must have clicked the 0 stops, which I shouldn't have done. Let's reload this search again. So again, as we build these flight connections, they're coming from different suppliers, different airlines, and much like the hotel, the way we do hotels, we also do this with air. Is we dedupe those different providers that are selling us tickets to make sure we're only showing you one alternative. So the lowest price is $516, and I might want to know a little bit more about this flight. I might want to know, where am I going to stop? How long is the layover, etc. And by clicking the Show Details button, I can see the itinerary. So this flight takes me from Greenville to Charlotte, and then I've got a lengthy layover, and then a flight from Charlotte into London. It shows me that this is a narrow-body jet, a Canada CRJ900 for this first flight, and the amount of time that it takes. You also can get access by clicking the fare details, and you'll see that really the price of the fare is only $382, but our great U.S. government here charges 133 pounds of taxes on top of the $382. So these base fares are actually super low. It's just the amount of taxes that all the government seem to be taking in on these flights. But to book, you simply click Book, and then this will take you into the booking screen. I've kind of walked you guys through this already, so I won't go through it in great detail. I will tell you, though, with airline tickets, be very, very careful with entering the passengers' names. They have to be exact, as you can imagine, for security reasons. The slightest of errors can cause someone some delay. So what I always trained our agents to do is when they would take the information from the customer, I would have them repeat it, and I would suggest you do this as well, to the point where even though James is my name, if I'm putting James Ferrara in, I will spell it back. I'll say, Mr. Ferrara, I just want to make sure I got your name spelled correctly. James is as it would appear on your government-issued photo ID or passport in this situation, since you're flying out of the country, would be James, James, and last name Ferrara, Ferrara. So very important that you take that extra time to do that to make sure that your client doesn't have any issues once they arrive to the airport. Again, the birth date is another thing that is very important. It has to be exactly as it is, or they could run into issues, because this is how governments check, do security checks. So you'll want to have the customer's passport number and the date that the passport expires on. Okay. Once you enter this information, it's going to take you into the confirm your booking. Again, this is where it'll recap the flight for you, show you the fare details. It does it on this screen. They'll also do it on the second screen, and then you would fill out the credit card information, hit buy now or submit, and then the ticket would go off to be processed. So just a little bit of information on that. So when a ticket goes for processing, we have a very sophisticated automated fraud check program that if anything appears out of whack, and it could be a simple mistake where the customer's credit card, the name on their credit card is spelled incorrectly, or the zip code is wrong, then that ticket will stop and it will not be automatically issued. If everything is fine, and this is all programmed through robotics, then the ticket will issue and you'll get a confirmation back in, a couple of minutes, could even be potentially seconds, depending upon the load on the server. If there is an issue, then it will get dropped to one of our air ticketing agents, who will look at the reservation, make sure everything is lined up, and then they'll reach out to you, the agents, to either gain information or make sure the name is spelled right. Or, sometimes it happens, people just get over their credit limit or over their debit card limit, and that can happen as well. So those are things to keep in mind. But an agent will reach out to you and work with you to try to correct the error and make sure things go through very smoothly for your customers. Once that happens, then the ticket is issued and you will receive a second email. So email number 1 tells you that we've received everything, we're working on it, but the ticket hasn't been issued. Email number 2 says ticket is issued, here's your ticket number, transaction complete, here's your confirmation number. So you just want to make sure to be on the lookout for both of those emails, as well as your customer to be on the lookout for those. One other tip is some of the spam filters on your emails, on your email accounts, some of those get triggered by the word travel or trip or flight. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that's sometimes set off the filters. And so sometimes if you're not getting a return email, make sure you check your spam filter before contacting the team, and because a lot of times they do end up in spam. So just make sure you check there first. Okay, well that kind of wraps up the demonstration of how to book online, and hopefully I provided you a few tips and things that you can use to make your experience better as a UK agent. A couple of things I do want to tell you about coming up. So we have a couple of new verticals. So we talked about verticals, and we have, I showed you today, hotels, flights, and cars. Didn't get a chance to show you cruises, but we're also going to be adding in the coming weeks an activities engine, and that activities engine will allow you to book things like hop-on, hop-off buses, SeaWorld tickets, anything that you do in destination all over the world. We've got an exciting partner that we're really excited about announcing this program. And then we're also will be providing you vacation rentals. So there will be a separate engine for vacation rentals. And with vacation rentals, these tend to be more like not necessarily hotels, but more like condominiums or townhouses, where you typically rent those for a week. And typically they come with a kitchen or a kitchenette. but they come at some very, very attractive values. I was showing some of the UK leadership that was that came over to the Atlanta conference a couple of weeks ago, showed them some examples of some one-week stays that were as low as $199 US per week, and it breaks down to around $7.10, again US, per person per night that stay in these villas, because a lot of these villas can accommodate 4, 6, or even 8 people. So a great new product that you've got to be looking for. That one's a little further out. That was probably out in the middle to late November time frame, but we're really excited about bringing those 2 products to you as well. Again, if you have any feedback, if you see any issues, we're still in the beta phase. Please send those to betaengine@inteletravel.com. We want to hear from you. We want to provide you responses to your questions, and we're always looking to make this system even better and better than it is today. So thank you so much for spending your evening with us. It was my pleasure to present this information to you, and I hope you all were able to take a little something away from this presentation, and it helps you to be a more successful InteleTravel agent. Until next time, have a good evening. Thank you and good night.